Welcome back to my channel, guys. Coming to you straight from my bedroom. Why, you may ask? Well, today we're going to look at 7 ways to make your bedroom look entirely, unbelievably expensive. Follow me. Today, I am pulling back the curtain on the designer secrets that make bedrooms look instantly, and I mean instantly expensive. And trust me, these aren't your typical just buy fancy stuff kind of a video. I've transformed hundreds of bedrooms from basic to breathtaking. And I want to show you exactly what tricks designers are using to achieve this. Make sure and stay to the end because I'm going to be dropping the best for last. Let me let you in on a little secret, and that secret is called layering. It is a very fancy way to make expensive looking rooms that are flat and give them life. So depth comes from strategic layering. Think about the most luxurious hotel room you've ever been in. Didn't it seem like the bed had so many layers to it? Or when you walk into Bloomies and you see the beds that are made, it's really all about layering. Here's why layering works. Our brains associate complexity with value. So when we see thoughtfully arranged layers, from bedding to window treatments to rugs, it creates visual interest that keeps our eyes moving through space. There is a catch though. Too many layers can make things look a little bit cluttered and cheap. So there is a fine line between overdoing it and underdoing it. Pillows. Everybody asks me about pillows. Should they be flat? Should they be up? Should they be square? Should they be round? And what I want to say about pillows is the key to pillow layering is balance. So start with sleeping pillows. Then you can add decorative ones in descending order, size order, shall we say. But keep your pillows to a minimum. A lot of us are removing pillows lately because it just seems to be a little bit cleaner. However, in those instances, we pick things that are very beautiful and structural, such as a very long, beautiful bolster instead of the Euro shams that were ubiquitous at one point. And again, remember, these are just suggestions about what's trending and what we think looks, high end and fashionable. These are not to diss. If you happen to have Euro pillows or if you happen to have anything that we are sort of moving away from, it doesn't mean that you can't love it and adore it and embrace it. The secret that most people miss when it comes to pillows, it's really not the quantity we're talking about. It's about the creativity, the arrangement that makes it feel intentional rather than just a cluttering of pillows. Now, throws are very important, but they have to be well placed and they add a very casual sense of elegance and they are actually very, very useful. I have a throw on this sofa, which has now disappeared, but it is useful. I throw it on myself when I'm reading or when I need a little bit more warmth. Other elements that are important are linens, rugs, furniture, window treatments, all of the things that you're thinking about, they all matter. And each element should complement the other while providing contrast. This creates depth, certainly without chaos. Before I get into the next tip, I wanted to bring something to your attention. It seems as though 33% of you who watch this channel regularly are the only ones that are subscribed, meaning that approximately 70% of you have not subscribed who have been watching. So if there was ever a moment for me to ask you this favor, this is it. It will allow me to bring you better and better content. We're constantly pushing the envelope and we would be remiss if we didn't beg you to click that subscribe button. It's free. And it will make a huge difference to all the people that work tirelessly on this channel. Number 2, guys, lighting. Okay, you guessed it. I'm sure you thought about lighting, but what is it that makes lighting look very highbrow versus inexpensive and just flat? So here's the game-changing principle. Expensive spaces never rely on a single source of light. They just don't. You have to have a lighting layering effect. So you're going to have your table lamps, you're going to have your floor lamps, you might have overhead lamps, you're going to have art lamps, you're going to have sconces perhaps. And this kind of combination really sets the room apart. Fixture selection is one of the most fun. It's like buying jewelry for yourself, but this time it's for your home and you should treat it as jewelry. They need to be special, unique, individual different pieces that you put in your home. Table lamps, pendants, chandeliers, sconces, they each play a unique role and they're so fun to choose. I love putting in sconces in my projects and in my home. And I find that if some of us don't have the ability to drill holes, well, you can certainly buy the Amazon sconces that allow you with an LED battery to operate sconces, which is huge. Dimmers, the next most important thing in interior design. And I always tell whoever I'm working with in our AV consultation meetings before we start a project is, I don't care what we're doing. I mean, I do care, but every single light, and I mean every single light, even the ones in the toilet, need to have dimmers. Everything. Before we dive into the rest of the designer secrets, I want to talk about something that's absolutely essential to any luxurious bedroom, and that is your mattress. That's right. You spend a third of your life sleeping. And if you're going to be somewhere for a third of your life consistently, shouldn't it be something that's not only comfortable, but gorgeous, that elevates your room? I wanted to specifically thank Birch Living for sponsoring this video. Thank you, Birch Living. And I first discovered them when I was looking for a non-toxic mattress to put in a client's project. And also I figured I should get one too because my mattress is now, I believe, over 10 years old. So it's time for a flipperoosies. So what caught my attention more than anything was their commitment to using only natural and organic materials. I knew that was important when I was designing nurseries, eons ago, that we had to have all natural materials, but I really hadn't thought about it very much in terms of adult mattresses. And we're talking organic wool, natural latex, all cottons, and completely free from fiberglass and harmful polyurethane foams. I've had my Birch Living mattress, I want to say now, for about 2 to 3 weeks, and I can't believe the difference it's actually made. I feel like I'm sleeping longer, better, and I have less back pain. So all in all, I give this mattress a thumbs up. Here's what I love about ordering from Birch. They offer a 100-night sleep trial, which is really important because you don't want to buy a mattress without really knowing if it works. You also get a 25-year warranty. I mean, that's a long time, and free delivery right to your doors. Birch's President's Day sale is now live. Birch is offering my followers an exclusive partner discount, so head to birchliving.com/Nina to get 27% off your mattress with the code BirchPartner27. All right, number 3, important. Less is more. Now, this cannot be more true than for bedroom design. Here's a mind-blowing fact. The most expensive rooms often have the least amount of things. Why? Well, because the space itself is very luxurious. The items that are chosen are very intentional. Think about it. Cluttered spaces feel chaotic and overwhelming, and they tend to be difficult to clean. Lots of things clash with one another. Organized spaces feel intentional and expensive. So I have to mention one thing. I went to the most incredible mid-century home I have ever seen in my life. And I mean ever, this past weekend. And I'm going to be featuring that on my vlog, Speechless. This home, if you want a real world example of exactly what I'm talking about, you're going to have to trust me and you're going to have to watch this exact vlog. This is the best example of curating beautiful furniture pieces that you have ever seen in a most gorgeous mid-century home. Artwork. Why did I clap? I don't know. I'll stop. Sorry. So artwork. I've got artwork in my room, but I have one enormous piece, and I've got one that you saw next to the mattress, which is just a round little artwork on a very big wall, intentional. Think about the most memorable rooms you've seen yet, and I bet they had striking artwork. And one example that I remember very well from walking into the Maurice Hotel in Paris off of the Rue de Rivoli, and this room, which is just the entrance of the hotel, it's like a little foyer before you get into the big gallery, had an art piece on the ceiling, literally on the ceiling at an angle. I will never forget this moment because I thought it was so wow, and it was actually the artwork. So it's a statement about intention and taste. So when you walk into a luxury hotel suite, what's the first thing, as I mentioned, you might see? It might be a beautiful piece of art. Now, artwork acts as a focal point that elevates everything around it, as you saw in my round art piece that I have on the wall of a lady. I believe it's a Moroccan lady with a veil over her eyes. And it really is about what that evokes within you The secret is choosing pieces that command attention while still harmonizing with your space. Size matters here, so typically small artwork goes on small walls, but if you do it the absolute reverse, so if you exaggerate it like a hyperbole, then it works. Extra small pieces on a big wall or giant pieces on a smaller wall, and that's what I've done in my bedroom. Number 5, okay, we only have 2 more, guys, and number 7, my absolute favorite, is coming up. So what is number 5, you may ask? Since we've talked about, I think, everything new, we haven't talked about materials that age gracefully. So luxurious spaces are built to get better with time, not worse. So you can espouse the pieces that you're buying, especially if you're buying vintage. Those are just going to patina and look better over time. And if they're new, they're certainly going to patina over time and turn into vintage. So think about leather pieces, aged brass fixtures. Think about things that wear well and how they're going to really elevate your space. Natural materials like stone, like this coffee table that is in my room is aging quite a bit. The brass that surrounds this coffee table used to be really bright, and I'm so happy that it's turned now almost rust. And that is what I enjoy about this piece. So think about these things when you're making your purchases. When we talk about texture, we can definitely incorporate lime wash and Roman clay. These are very, very hot at the moment. I'm doing them everywhere, and I'm really excited about it because it used to be something that was very expensive. Venetian plaster, you needed to bring somebody who was a specialist. They would charge you an arm and a leg, and then you were broke. But now you can actually DIY this, or you can bring in painters that use paints like Portola that could recreate lime wash and Venetian plaster in 5 minutes, literally. It's really simple. So I love using these materials. They're breathable. They're materials that integrate beautifully with your surfaces. They bring in texture, and it really has this beautiful patina, and it maintains structural integrity over time. The magic happens because these materials interact with their environment. So wood develops into a richer color, even your floors do over time. Metals take on a subtle variation, or sometimes not so subtle in my case, and stone reveals deeper patterns over time. Meanwhile, cheap materials like vinyl and synthetic leathers and all the faux stuff, unfortunately, just stay flat and look worse and start to peel, and you get it. If you want to dive deeper into specifics or have a dilemma with your bedroom or furniture placement, I'm just a quick Zoom call away. All you have to do is click the link in my description section. My calendar miraculously pops up, and next thing you know, we're on a Zoom. Okay, number 6, integrated storage. Why is that important? Because we all have things, and life requires lots of things, especially if you have my 12-step beauty routine. I need the LED lights, I need so many things, and all of these things have to have a place, a home. So built-ins are a great way to do that. You can also have some bespoke custom pieces that are made for you. Here's why they work so well: because they create a seamless sort of look in your room. You can also create faux doors. By faux doors, I mean you can create a door that sort of disappears onto the wall, or cabinetry that disappears and melts into the wall with just, very simple lines. There's ways of doing this so that it's not cluttered and it's very simple to implement. The best part: you don't need a massive budget to achieve this at all. You can do some built-ins with IKEA shelves. You can just bring in a cabinet maker. You can also bring in materials and do this yourself. I've seen a lot of people create really interesting custom-built pieces in their rooms, and it's just fantastic. Pro tip here: please, 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 when doing built-ins, go all the way to your ceiling. Unless you have 20-foot ceilings, there's no reason why you should leave any extra space on top to gather dust. Number 7, last but certainly not least, and my favorite that you would not have guessed, I don't think, is called breaking symmetry. Now, what do I mean by that? Here's a designer secret that might surprise you. Perfection is actually not achievable in real life, and it should be avoided. Having things look too perfect are actually void of character. So whether it's your furniture set being the same, or whether it's a piece that's mass produced. Now, don't judge. As you can see, I've got a sofa here that you've seen over and over and over again. And the reason is that I love a curved sofa in a curved room. There is no other way for me to do this. So a Kagan or Kagan style sofa is important in this space. So the important key to this that will allow you to have a very edited space is to play with scale and proportion, but in a way that's thoughtful. Mix large pieces with smaller ones, combine different furniture styles, have high and low decorative pieces. Look at the mid-century room that I visited. That is a very good example of how they've done the decor, how they've done the scale of the furniture, and that will give you a very, very good idea of how to do this. So let your drapes, if you want, billow on the floor, as an example, in one area, and then maybe have a tight bench in another. I'm trying to give you guys an example. Let your bedding spill generously over the sides of your mattress, but then have, very, very edited curtains. You want to have that balance. So this calculated imperfection is what really makes a room look expensive. Do not do everything, for instance, billowing curtains, billowing skirts, billowing tassels, etc., etc. You have to really balance everything out. Think about it like a well-curated art gallery. The impact comes from how different pieces work together. And you guys know my favorite thing is to mix different eras together. So mid-century works well with Rococo. Art Deco mixes very well with a little bit of country chic. I know it sounds crazy, but it does if you do it well. Now, why does that work? Because the impact comes from the juxtaposition of these different pieces, and this principle applies to everything in your room, from artwork to accessories to furniture. Remember, this is why going to estate sales or collecting things you love over time creates this exact look. Don't rush and buy everything now. I have a lot of friends, clients who want to buy everything now, but then you don't have that discovery. There's no way you're going to find 100 beautiful pieces if you're redoing your entire home, within a year. It's not possible. So you want to buy things thoughtfully and layer your home slowly over time until it becomes exactly you. Before you go, drop a comment about which of these techniques you're willing to try or which of these techniques really stood out for you. I'm curious. I want to know, was it the symmetry or was it the layering? I'm dying to know. Make sure and sound off below. I read all of your comments, every single one of them. I try and respond to as many as possible. And if you're looking for more bedroom design tips, I do have another video about this that I'm going to link right here so that you guys can really dive deep into your bedroom redesign. I love you guys more than you know. Thank you for being here. Thank you for being supporters. And I can't wait to see you guys again here next week on, you guessed it, the Red Elevator.